Welcome back to the Pick and Roll Podcast.
It has been 4 or 5 months?
I think so.
I think it was February. We did mid-season awards. That feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
And I don't think we could have envisioned this, but the playoffs are going on in August and September and October.
Crazy times.
So we don't really have a script for this one. We're just glad to be back, and we're just going to talk what's been happening through the playoff series so far. Just want to start in the West.
Yep.
Lakers, Blazers. Not really much to say here.
I mean, people thought Blazers could have had a chance there, but
After game one, I think Lakers fans were worried.
Going against Dame after just dominating the bubble.
Just MVP, bubble MVP. And the dude was on another level, and then he comes out game one and win. It's like, oh boy, Charles Barkley might be right.
Yeah.
But then LeBron said no and slammed the door shut.
I mean, LeBron has never lost a game, first round matchup, so
Never.
expected.
AD's been brilliant this entire playoffs. I mean, he's had a couple off games where he's just not aggressive.
Can't really hit free throws.
None of them can. That's
Yeah.
a weakness. If they play the
Weakness of
Clippers or the
Game's a
Heat
lie.
or the Celtics, so I think they're playing right now. Let's check the score on that, hopefully.
Who's your top three in that series? Who do you think really set it over?
What do you mean?
Who do you think played the best in the Lakers series against the Trailblazers?
Just out of the Lakers or both teams?
Both teams.
Obviously LeBron, AD, Danny Green and KCP both struggled, so
Yeah.
obviously not them. JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard played good minutes for them both. I mean, if they can get those minutes out of those two against better teams, that's really going to help them. They're up 109-83 on the Rockets. They're going to close them out. Same exact thing. We'll get to it later, but same exact thing. They lost game one. But Blazers side, Melo played good. I thought he had a couple big shots, big
Melo
series.
really came up. Gary Trent.
Was he good in the series, though?
Not in the series.
He was good
Game
in
one
the
bubble.
Yeah, he broke out, though. I
Yeah.
was excited to see that. What else you got to say about that?
Not much.
Okay, then we'll go to your series, which I don't know how much you're going to want to talk about it.
Thunder
but
Rockets.
Thunder Rockets, 7 games.
I had high hopes for this team. Not a lot of people did. Going in. Lou Dort. Crazy series.
I don't know.
Didn't
Crazy
shoot.
game 7.
Yeah, didn't shoot good from three the entire series. Game 7, he's like, you know what? They'll leave me open. I'm going to start taking it. He had confidence.
You don't see
Players
that.
had confidence in him.
You don't see that a lot of young players in game 7s, especially ones that don't score that often, to step up. But he did. It wasn't enough, as his shot got blocked by Harden late. But it was after going down 2-0, I think you should be very happy with going to game 7 and even having a shot to win that series at all.
Chris Paul really cemented his place in OKC.
I think he's getting traded. What do you think? Do you think, because
I think he is too, but I think he left his mark in OKC.
he's going to love that place? Because I feel like when he played for the Hornets, I feel like they started out in Oklahoma City.
They did because of the hurricane.
Yeah.
They played because of Hurricane Katrina. They played in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, okay. So I think he loves the city. I think if he could stay, he would, but I just don't think. I think the Thunder are going to take a different direction, let go of Billy Donovan. They're
Yeah.
just going to start from scratch. They got loads of draft picks. They're ready for the future, and Chris Paul won't be a part of that future, but he might get some
I
assets
think
back.
we win a championship in the next 5 years.
Wow, next 5.
Next 10.
I'll give you next 10. I mean,
But
if you got to hit on your uppers. You have to hit on
Next
your
10,
uppers.
I'm thinking we win 3 in the next 10. We'll be a dynasty.
Wow,
In the
that is
next
a
10 years, we'll be a
bold
dynasty.
Okay.
There's no way, I don't think there's a way we could mess up this. We have loads of draft
But the
picks,
thing is,
young talent.
The
There's a
picks that you
disgruntled
do
star.
have are the Clippers, who are good. It's going to be a late draft pick, probably the next 3, 4, 5 years.
If there's a disgruntled star, we have the assets to get them.
That's true. But
There's always a disgruntled star.
I don't think the picks are going to be as valuable as you think, because the teams that you got them from, they're good teams. They're going to be lower in the draft. Unless the Rockets blow
in the
it.
next 5 years.
Yeah. I mean,
Kawhi might not be there. Paul George might not be there.
but that's 1 or 2 picks, not all 5.
The Rockets are getting older.
Yeah. I guess.
One of the oldest teams in basketball.
Yeah. Speaking of the Rockets, what do you think? I mean, they're obviously getting eliminated right now. What do you think? What direction do you think they go? Mike D'Antoni's out, pretty much. I think everyone knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Do they just keep Harden? I mean, some people think D'Antoni should be traded.
I don't think they'll go that far. That's their poster boy the entire
Yeah.
like time he's been there.
They're not trading. I don't see them trading Westbrook either.
I
I
don't.
mean, who wants him?
I think they'll just be the team that just stays competitive for the next 5 years and just like
They've been that for already 7 years.
I think that's what they do.
That's
They're always
It's not a
they're
fun
always-
place to be, really.
They're always contending, but not really. You always count them out.
Yeah. I
Even
mean,
though they get so close, like Chris Paul in Game 7, where they didn't play.
yeah. And then they
The
just
Rockets game
they
7
win
back as well.
game 1 against the Lakers. They win 4 straight, pretty much blowouts after that. I mean, it wasn't a
Yeah.
series. Then I think we're gonna go to probably the best first round series we've seen in the last 10 years. Nuggets Jazz. I'm not saying that because I'm biased. A lot of people think that.
Good series.
It was better. It was more than a good series.
It was a great series.
There's never been a playoff series really ever where two guys are just scoring 35 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus 4 times. That has never happened, and doing it while making big clutch shots. I mean, it was nothing the NBA has ever seen before. That's why it's a top 5 first round series of all time. I'm not even saying that because of my bias.
Call me crazy. I think Donovan Mitchell is a top 10 playoff player. Not just this year, but like currently
In the NBA,
in the
if
NBA
you were
right
to-
now.
if you were
top
to,
10
if you were to
playoff
draft based on the playoffs, you'd take Donovan Mitchell in your top 10.
player. If you think about it, he took out my Thunder with Paul George and Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, but
The
that
year.
wasn't really. I mean, he had a. I guess did he have? I mean, I thought it was more like Paul George and Russell didn't do much.
We played okay, but Donovan Mitchell led that team as a rookie.
Yeah, he struggled last year.
Yeah, I mean
Against the
last
Rockets.
year, that's tough.
And he struggled.
The Jazz don't match
Rockets
up
that
well
year.
against the Rockets, so I can't put that against him.
Yeah, I guess.
But,
I mean-
he's put himself in that position.
But I'm taking. If I'm making a top 10 list, I mean, it's going to be the top 5 players in the NBA anyways. I'm taking
I mean,
Curry,
yes.
LeBron, Kawhi.
But I'm saying
Ooh,
you're throwing
I
in
mean-
like a
This is obviously.
if you go from like a 3-year span of like you can't just take one good year of a player. Is it the 3 years? I think he's up there.
Would you rather have him in the playoffs than Giannis?
That's hard because Giannis is like a generational talent.
I feel like we're kind of overreacting on this. It's been 1 series. It's been 2 though. We struggled
been
against
2.
the Raptors, but both of these teams, the Heat and the Raptors, have completely shut him down, and those are 2 good defending teams. So
It's
I don't think we go that far.
if you
it's
throw
still
enough bodies
Giannis.
against Giannis, he's gonna break.
But against like a team like if he played the Rockets,
He would dominate.
I mean he'd score 40 a game.
They don't have someone to stop
If he
him.
played even the Celtics, really, their defense isn't. I mean Tatum, Brown, Smart. I mean they're not
They
big
don't
enough.
have
I don't
someone
think.
to put in front of him.
So let's just go to we'll keep on the Nuggets, Jazz. Let's talk about the Nuggets. Jamal Murray might be the most inconsistent player in the playoffs in the last 5 years, but he's 23 years old. I think Steph Curry was doing this at 23. He wasn't. He was not scoring 50 plus twice in the same playoff series. 40 plus 4 times. I mean, no one's done that except Donovan Mitchell. That's how crazy that series was. Is that those players did something that has never been done before, and they both did it against each other. I mean, and then for the Nuggets to come back from a 3-1 series deficit, I guess, and hopefully they do it again. I don't think they will, but
No, I think the Clippers have this one in the bag.
6 or 7. I think they win tomorrow afternoon or Tuesday night.
I think they win tomorrow.
Yeah. All I wanted was the
Five-seven.
Nuggets, when they were down 3-1 last night, I just wanted them to fight. Don't roll over. When we're down 15, don't just roll over and lose by 25. Come back and at least give an effort. And they came back and then they won the game. That's what I was most proud of. But Jokic, I just saw a stat. With players that have played at least 10 playoff games, he is 14th all time in points per game in the playoffs. At 26 or something.
Impressive.
And he does it under the radar too.
No one
It's
really thinks about
crazy.
Jokic like that.
No. And he just, every game he's 25, 14, and 6. I mean, it's just, it comes
It's
effortless to him. And I wish it got more attention, but it doesn't. I don't know. Let's go to this was a good series too. Clippers Mavericks. Luka, big
Yeah.
shots, and the beef with Marcus Morris.
Luka has definitely made himself known in the league. He made
He
himself.
cemented himself at least a top 10 player.
I'd say top 5.
Some people say top 5. So who's your top 5 in the NBA then?
Kawhi, Giannis.
Is this any order or just? Any
No, just
okay.
listen. Kawhi, Giannis, LeBron, Luka, Curry.
No.
Oh, AD.
No AD. No Harden.
I don't think Harden is as good as he
Or
put some
Dame.
stuff out to be. I don't think Dame's top 5. I think he's right outside top 5. And I don't think AD is on Curry or Luka's range yet. So I would say, yeah, AD's not in the top 5.
Yeah. I mean, I'd put him at 6. I think AD is over him. He's more established. Lucas played one playoff series, and AD's dominating this playoffs.
Yeah.
I'd still put an AD ahead of him. I'm going your players: Kawhi, LeBron, Giannis, AD, Curry. I mean, I don't like Harden, but I don't know. That's a toss-up to me. Luka and Harden's a toss-up. Luka Doncic is really the right hand of James Harden, if you think about it. Just not as foul trigger happy.
Yeah.
But the Clippers, do you have them winning it all right now?
I have them winning it all.
Before,
yes.
I think we both had them winning it all anyway.
Before the playoffs, I had the Celtics and the Clippers.
I had Clippers Raptors. That didn't work out, but yeah, the Clippers are just dominant. And for the Nuggets to take them to 6 or 7 games, that's really, I think that's a win.
It's surprising they've been this dominant with Paul George playing this bad.
Since those tweets came out where everyone's just
He's been good.
he's been really good. Like,
Yeah.
this series has been insane. Like, he's averaging probably 25, 24 in a series. So I think that slander should probably stop. Because remember, this was a while
He was
ago, on the Pacers, he led them to the Eastern Conference Finals and took LeBron to 7
And on the
games.
Thunder, he was a MVP candidate.
Not in playoffs.
Well, no, not in playoffs, but in the season, he was an MVP candidate.
Yeah, but I'm saying, that was last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's third in MVP voting.
Third.
But I'm saying, like, 2013 on the Pacers,
Yeah,
he took
he took
LeBron to
LeBron.
7 games. I mean, yeah, he had Roy Hibbert, he had Danny Granger, maybe? Did he still have Danny Granger? I don't know. But yeah, he's still played some really good playoff games, and I think that slander needs to stop. And then Kawhi is literally just a surgeon. I mean, it's just so easy. And he doesn't smile, he doesn't get mad,
Kawhi's
he
a
doesn't do
robot.
anything. He might be my favorite player in the NBA. I mean, it's just because he doesn't complain about any calls.
Keeps the emotions
just
out of
goes.
it.
And then Bucks Magic, Game 1 Magic are undefeated.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But then after that, they fought actually. There were a lot of close games in that series, but
But we all knew the outcome.
yeah, we don't really need to talk about that. Pacers Heat. How about the Heat? You love the
He'd
Heat.
have been impressive. I had them beating the Bucks actually,
Yeah, I mean,
and not a lot of people did. A lot of
well,
people-
after the first series, a lot of people did.
Yeah.
But before the playoffs, not a lot of people did.
I like the Heat. I like Jimmy Butler. I think he's a leader. I think he gets a lot of hate for like destroying locker rooms and destroying teams like the Timberwolves. And I don't think that's credited to him. I think
it's credited to Karl-Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Joel Embiid.
I think he
kinda
just doesn't have.
They're not alpha players
Yeah.
like Jimmy, and when there's not alpha players or players that type A players,
I
are
think
butt heads.
Yeah, Jimmy puts in the work, and those guys kind of.
They kind of just go off of talent,
Yeah,
which they have a lot of. But like all the Heat players, there's not really a guy that's like
He's
got a
really-
lot of talent.
he's fulfilled like this Chris Paul role where he's molded that those Heat rookies and Heat like younger guys into they'll probably be really great players in the NBA.
Yeah,
in the
he's
future.
really made himself the villain in the NBA. Remember that quote he had?
Yeah.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And he's embraced that villain role. I think it's great. I'm rooting for them.
I mean, I've never seen Jimmy Butler as a villain, really. I know other like the media has, but like I've always rooted for him.
I root for him, but I still see him as a villain. I want to see him as a villain. It's a cool story. I think.
Yeah,
I want people to view him as that, so he's
he's got a chip on his
going
shoulder.
above expectations. His chip on his shoulder, you know. Then
Duncan
they
Robinson.
dominated. How about the Pacers? Nate McMillan got fired. That was a little questionable to me.
They think they're getting Dan
Very-
Towney, which
Why?
does not fit them at all.
I mean, who can? Doug McDermott's their best 3-point shooter. Who
Yeah.
else is?
They-
They're not bad 3-point shooters, but they're not. That's not
Aaron
their
Holiday's
style.
okay.
They have Sabonis and Turner. That's D'Antoni just is coming from a team where their tallest player is 6'7". So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think Dan Tony's the right fit.
I
for
think
them.
Billy Donovan would be a good fit for them.
I can see that. Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Billy
see
Donovan doesn't really do a lot of drawing up plays or anything, but I think he's a good leader.
I think he's good at relationship building with players.
Yeah.
Like they gain his trust.
I think
gains their
Julian
trust.
Donovan needs a player on his team like Chris Paul who can lead the team on his own.
Yeah, I mean, who's that
Become
player
the
though?
coach. Because before that he had Russ, and they butt heads because Russ is
Yeah, he's not CP3.
yeah.
Who's that player on the Pacers though?
I mean
Malcolm Brogdon,
TJ Warren, no,
TJ Warren, no,
he's not a leader.
Brogdon.
Malcolm Brogdon's their best leader. I'm saying
So maybe
he's
it's
not really a good
Donovan.
fit for them.
What about Ty Lue?
I feel like they.
I don't think we've seen enough from him. We've seen him with LeBron, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean you can't really coach a team that's LeBron.
You can't really. But I'm not saying he did a
aren't the
bad
coach.
job. I'm not saying he did
Yeah,
bad. I mean, we're
it's not
just-
his fault. It has LeBron is the coach of his own.
He did win a champion. I mean, he did win a championship.
Yeah.
He's got that pedigree, and he's on the Clippers staff this year. Who else? I mean,
Kenny Atkinson.
yeah. But I feel like that won't take him to the next level.
I don't think they will ever get to the next level as a pace.
With this crew, with this core.
With the team they have right now, I don't think
What-
what their coach has matters.
But we also haven't seen VO at 100%. And,
I don't think he'll get back to 100%.
yeah. If he did, though, with Sabonis, with Turner making jumps, with Brogdon, do you think if he got back to that all-star level, where do you see that? Where's their ceiling?
Their stealing is a 3 seed for me, in my opinion.
And in the playoffs, how far? Second round?
Second round, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's if all of their
But I
players
mean, they're really not.
jump and get to the point.
What are they supposed to do?
Yeah, I
Trade
agree.
VO? That's not going to get you much back.
I think
They're
they're in the
kinda
same
just
spot as
stuck.
the Rockets, where they're kind of they're a little
Yeah.
lesser than the Rockets.
Yeah.
Kind of contending, kind of not.
And they're not a big market, so they're not going to attract free agents.
They're kind of in that leeway point where you just gotta play basketball, you know.
Yeah, it's not a fun place to be in, but it's a better place to be than the Knicks, than the Bulls, than the Pistons. I don't know. Then the Celtics Sixers. This was a domination. I liked the Sixers in this series. I still had the Celtics winning, but I thought it would go 6 or 7.
I had the Celtics in like 5.
4. I mean, just quick, easy.
Yeah.
The Celtics have looked good at times and just head scratching at times. Like against the Raptors, they're up 2-0. It's like, geez, this team is unstoppable. They're 6-0 in the playoffs. Then they lose with 0.5 left.
Oh, that was brutal.
If they win that, the series is going 5 games max. But then they lose that. Raptors come back and win game 4. Then they rebound, which was very impressive, to rebound after losing 2 in a row, to take a 3-2 lead. Raptors rebound after that, it's 3-3, and then last night.
Once the Celtics won game 5, I could kind of tell that the Raptors were going to take game 6. You had that feeling, you know?
Yeah, once it was 2-2, I'm like, this is going 7. This is going
Yeah.
7.
I mean, there's no series where you can like tell this going to 7 games, and that was one of them for me.
It was definitely the best second round series, unless Nuggets Clippers somehow tops it. But that's definitely been the best second round series.
I would say Raptors, Celtics.
Nuggets Clippers. If there's these next 2 games are really nice, then it'd be
Maybe.
tight.
Yeah, if they end up taking it to 7.
Sixers. Fire Brett Brown. We saw that coming. What's their next move? Because it's clearly not working.
I think you have to trade one of your stars.
I think they should. I
I
think they should trade
think-
Joe Embiid.
They're not in the leeway point that the Rockets and the Pacers are. I think they're at a point where they could either start to tank again, like they
There's too much
Tough
talent on that
process.
team to train.
not to tank, but to get assets for the future.
Retool.
Yeah, switch things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think Ben Simmons would be a better player to keep than Joel Embiid. I think Joel's more expendable. There's a lot of great centers in the league that they could replace him with.
Yeah, but who would want it? Miami? But they got,
But they wouldn't want to team up Jimmy Butler and Joel again.
They like each other,
Yeah, but I don't think their personalities mix.
I guess.
I don't
But-
think that's a championship team if they add Joel.
And they're going to Bam. I've just seen a bunch of players in Heat jerseys lately. The Heat fans love it.
Defense, yeah.
Giannis.
Love photoshopping players in their jerseys.
What about the Warriors? The 4th pick, Wiggins.
Get Embiid, get Giannis maybe. Next
Well,
grade.
but the Sixers aren't going to take the 4th pick in Wiggins, so
Yeah, someone needs to put together a good trade package for
if they involve the 3rd team,
maybe. I don't really see them making any moves, but I think they should.
The Sixers.
Yeah.
They're going to make moves. There's no way they don't make moves. Tobias Harris, Al Horford is going to be impossible to trade.
Yeah.
He has
You're
no
gonna-
value in his contract.
You'd
Is
get
off the
nothing
charts.
back. You'd have to trade a young guy to get his contract out the books, which I don't think they should.
And they'd trade picks. They'd trade picks.
Yeah.
They'd attach, but then they have to get a contract in return.
So they're
Who's
not
willing?
really-
I mean, what contracts do we have? I mean, not Gordon Hayward. They would never do that. Buddy Hield. Why would the Kings?
Yeah, why would the Kings want old Al
I don't
Horford
know.
on their young team?
What about? I've seen this.
They could buy him now.
What about Charlotte? Why would Horford would never do a buy with the money he's making?
Yeah.
What about Charlotte for Terry Rozier?
Why would Charlotte do it then?
You get a veteran on their team, and that frees Devontae Graham to have the backcourt keys. No more Terry Rozier in the way. It's just Devontae go. The contracts would match up. Terry's getting bagged, and it would help the Sixers. They need another ball handler. Once Simmons went out, there was no one that could handle the ball on that team. That's the big reason they lost before. So they get Terry Rozier, who's shown flashes in the playoffs and in the regular season of being a top 15 point guard.
Yeah.
I think that, and then you throw him a pick too. You throw Charlotte a pick or two. I think that's the only.
I mean, that's doable. I could see it happening.
Yeah. Or like Nick Batum,
Does that really improve their team as a whole, though?
Charlotte.
No. Sixers.
Yes, immensely. Because now
But do you think that that trade would give them the jump to actually contend?
I think it's a start though.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere, and I think that's a good start. And then maybe. Because now you have cap if you trade that, or not cap, but you have more flexibility. With Horford on the books, they can't sign anybody except minimum players and mid-level exceptions. I mean, they got to start somewhere, and I think that might be a solid place to start. Charlotte, there's an argument to be made that they would accept it. There's an argument to be made that they wouldn't accept
Charlotte
it.
has nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, they do have a couple intriguing guys, Bridges and Washington. I agree,
Yeah.
but.
They're not doing much in the near future.
Raptors, Nets. We don't need to
Not
talk
a lot
about
to talk about here.
They'll be here next year. Raptors. See, there was a lot of disappointment. I mean, that's just how I viewed this. I had the Raptors making the finals. They
Well,
took
some
Boston
people
to
did.
7, and they had so many different disappointments on their team. They still took them to 7. I think that's how talented and deep that they are. Norman Powell is extremely underrated.
Nick Nurse is a great coach.
Nick Nurse is a great coach. Serge Ibaka played great. Kyle Lowry played good.
I mean, the Raptors are deep. They have one of the deepest teams in the league.
OG.
They could run a 10-man rotation. and
Ronnie
not-
Hollis Jefferson doesn't even get minutes in the playoffs, and he's a good
He's
player.
solid.
And he doesn't even get minutes.
I mean, they have a 10-man rotation that's better than some people's 8-mans, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're like contenders.
Yeah. Fred VanVleet, stay or go? Does he go somewhere else, chase a bag?
Yeah, I think he would go for a bag somewhere.
Where do you think? New York?
Someone that.
New York, Detroit. New York and Detroit are going to throw him a bag.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd be stupid not to. Orlando?
Any of those teams wouldn't really do much. It'd be more of like a Terry Rozier situation, but a little better, I'd say. I think Fred VanVleet's a better player than Terry Rozier.
But, I mean, I think New York Knicks fans would like Fred VanVleet.
it would give them
give them
someone
something.
to root for, yeah.
You know?
Little
And maybe he's still pretty
morality
young.
boost.
He's still, what, 24, 25?
Yeah.
Pairing with RJ, Mitchell Robinson. Not bad. So, second round series, we've already talked about Lakers Rockets, really. Domination after
Yeah.
game one. Nuggets Clippers.
Talked about it a little bit.
If the Nuggets were up big in game 3 and the series was tied 1-1, if they hang on to that, the series I think is complete. I think the Nuggets are winning the series right now if they win that game. I mean, technically it'd be 3-2, so things would go differently, but what do you think? Say the Nuggets lose tomorrow.
Yeah.
What do you think they should do? Because Jeremy Grant's a free agent, Paul Millsap's a free agent, Torrey Craig's a free agent.
I think Nuggets are in a good position right now. I think they can just draft well and just
Yeah,
keep the team
they
together.
have the 22nd pick.
Keep the team together.
So, does that mean bring back Millsap?
I think I wouldn't do anything drastic if I were the Nuggets. I think just stick with what you have and
That's-
just let your young guys develop.
That's been their selling point for the last few years, is continuity. Just bring back the same crew. We
I
added
would
Jeremy Grant.
Just
which
get
is
some
huge
playoff
pickup.
experience under your belts.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. But Millsap, Grant, he was the reason we won last night. He had a 14-point third quarter, got us back.
I think Millsap's expendable.
Well, he's a free agent.
Yeah,
No,
you could let him walk, I think.
I think they should. But if he wants like a cheap deal, I wouldn't be mad if they re-signed him as a bench player.
He'd be solid off the bench.
And they need to re-sign Jeremy Grant but the thing is, Jeremy Grant is
I'm a
going to
big
get
fan
a
of Jeremy
bag.
Grant.
The Knicks could throw him a bag.
Yeah, I mean, he's a $14 million guy.
He's more than that.
You think 20?
Maybe not for the Nuggets, but for teams that just would take something, I think he can get 18.
For 1 year, 18?
No, 3 year, 2 or 3 year, 36, 54 million.
I could see that happening.
I could see like a 4 year, $72 million deal last year player option. That's where I see it.
I think he's like a $12 million guy.
He won't be. He'll
14,
be a
12 to $14 million guy.
because he can really guard 1 through 5.
I'm a big fan of Jeremy Grant.
He can guard 1 through 5. He can knock down threes. Athleticism off the charts. He needs to improve his rebounding. With how athletic he is, he doesn't get any rebounds. But the Nuggets need to bring him back because then next year we could have a starting lineup of Jamal, Gary, Porter starting, Grant, Jokic, and then Will Barton off the bench, Monte Morris,
You got one of the most promising players in people's eyes, Bull.
potentially Bol is what I was just going to say. Because I think Mason Plumlee's actually free agent too. So do we let Plumlee walk and let Bol become? Is he ready though? Because I don't know. In the bubble, he showed things. It's like, oh my gosh, this dude's not human. But
People
then,
overhype him, I think.
Yeah,
But
he's
he
not-
has the potential to be
his
good.
defense, although we block shots, is so bad it's scary. But he's a rookie. He has talent off the charts. The work ethic is an issue. I think he doesn't get in the gym as much as he should. But yeah, I think you're right. I think they stand pat. A lot of articles are saying trade for Bradley Beal, trade for Drew Holiday. We don't want to give up those assets because that's
There's no point to it.
That's what we've. To
I
contend
think-
right now.
But you're in a position where you could win more championships down the line.
I think they win a championship in the next 5 years
I can see it happening.
with
I'd
Murray
say
being
closer to
in
the
prime.
fourth or fifth year.
Yeah,
But your guys get to your prime.
I don't think they win this series, but if they do, they match up really well against the Lakers
Yeah.
because our best defenders can defend forwards, like we've seen. Kawhi has played good, but we've played good defense on him. There's nothing you can do about Kawhi. I think you can make LeBron a passer, which could be dangerous if they make their shots. Danny Green, Caruso, KCP. If they miss their shots, this is a very beatable team. So I think if the Clippers win, I think they win in 6. If the Nuggets win, I don't think it's just a Lakers in 5 kind of thing. I think it's a competitive series.
You think so?
'Cause I think they can still contend right
The
now.
Lakers have shown signs of weaknesses in this playoffs.
Yeah.
They're
And
not
the Clippers
team-
really haven't.
Not the team that people thought they were in the offseason where they're just going to dominate.
Yeah. Heat Bucks.
Surprising series for most.
Not after the first round. A lot of people had the Heat winning. A lot of people had the Heat winning.
Yeah.
Just because you think about it, how many different guys can they throw at Giannis?
They could throw a lot of guys. James, Johnson.
Never played in the series.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of big guys. In that team.
Bam, Iggy, Jimmy Butler, Kelly Olynyk even. I'm missing one big one. Jay Crowder.
That's what I was thinking.
That's
Not
5.
James Johnson. I was
James
thinking
Johnson's
Jay-
on the Wolves actually right now.
Yeah, I was thinking Jay Crowder instead.
That's 5 guys, and they just create a wall. If Giannis is coming, 3 guys, wall up, don't let him by. And he struggled. I mean, flat out did not play good. Couldn't, and started settling for threes. You can't do that. And then just the heart and soul, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero played insane.
You see the thing about Giannis and unfollowing
Yeah.
his teammates and the Bucks.
Do you
on
think they
Instagram?
trade him?
1
1 year left on the contract.
He said there's no way that he wants to.
That doesn't mean
to
they
force a
will.
trade, but they
Yeah.
could.
I don't
honestly
think they
trade him.
will. I don't
He's too good of a player to just trade away.
When's the last time, I guess Paul George? He was a top 10 player after last year, and they traded him away.
We got a lot of value out of it too. 5
It was-
first round
It
picks.
was a good trade. But I'm just saying, when's the last time a
Shea,
top 5
first
player
round
got
picks,
traded?
Shea and Gallo.
But he's going to win MVP. There's never been a season where an MVP gets traded, right?
I don't think so.
And that doesn't happen. So I don't think they do. Does he walk next free agency?
I think it's an 80% chance.
If they have the season they had this year, where they are insane regular season but fall in the playoffs,
I think there's a good likelihood that he does.
where?
A lot of teams that can contend with
I like
Giannis.
Toronto, especially if they don't
Toronto.
resign Van Vliet. They'll have cap.
Interesting.
Miami will have cap.
I could see Miami. I could see the Clippers maybe
They said they're interested, but how?
clear up just trade.
They said they were interested in trading for him.
Yeah,
What are they going to get? They'd have to give up Paul
they'd
George.
have to do a lot.
They'd have to give up Paul George.
I'm thinking Paul George, Landry Shamet. They don't have a lot of picks.
Trez.
That at that point, that's a lot of value.
Would
Trez
you
is
rather have the
$6
core they have
million.
now or Kawhi and Giannis with some fill-ins?
I think they would give up Paul George, Shamet,
They don't have picks.
Terrence Mann,
The Bucks want Terrence Mann. I mean,
future first.
They don't have picks.
They don't have a single pick. They gave it all
because you can't trade picks in consecutive years.
Oh, steeping rule.
So they've traded all their picks 21, 23, 25, 27, 29 maybe? I think the 29 is a pick swap.
Yeah.
So they're done for half the decade on picks. And they can't even trade any now unless they acquire them from another team. But I mean, do the Bucks, I guess if he's forcing a trade, then yes. You probably take that.
His value goes down though. In
Yeah.
force of trade. You've seen that with Paul George to the Thunder. At the time, Victor
At the
Oladipo
time.
and Demonis Sabonis weren't looked as really great.
But the Pacers,
assets.
but the Pacers might have viewed them as that. We don't know that. They might have seen something.
Us fans viewed it as selling him for a bag of chips.
But they're the experts. We're not the experts.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. The value definitely does go down when a player forces a trade because
Mhm.
that the other team knows this. They have to trade him, so
Yeah.
we're not going to give you more. Is that it? Is that we got all the series? We'll
think so.
finish out with predictions for the rest of the playoffs.
My prediction
Clippers
is,
win tomorrow.
Yeah, Clippers, Celtics, and then Lakers.
How many games? Clippers and Lakers. You have the Clippers winning over the Lakers.
Yeah, the Clippers over the Lakers and Celtics
Over the Heat.
Yeah, over the Heat.
How many games?
Celtics Heat, I have 6 or 7. I think it's gonna be a
6 or
great
7?
series. 6. Yeah, I would say 6. And then I just think the Heat don't have the experience other than Jimmy Butler to make the finals.
Iggy. I mean, he's not a
Other
big
than
part.
Jimmy Butler and Iggy, a lot of their team is
Okay.
rookies and 2-year players, 2-3-year players.
Celtics. Where's their
Celtics? I mean, they don't have a lot of experience, but
Kemba Walker hasn't made it past the first round till now. I mean, we've seen it. He struggled.
I guess neither team really has a lot of.
Tatum and Brown have
Championship
played
experience.
LeBron in the conference finals a couple years ago. They were up 2-0 on him, and then they lost. But
Yeah, I guess neither team really has a lot of championship experience. He probably.
that's why I love to see a different
It's
team.
gonna be an interesting series to say the least. I think Clippers in 6 as well. I don't think the Lakers are as good as the Clippers.
They're just not on the same level. I mean, well, I don't know about that. I think,
But it's
I
hard.
think the Clippers are deeper. Obviously, they're more disciplined.
LeBron-
Their defense is better. I mean, there's more strengths to the Clippers than there are the Lakers.
Yeah, and LeBron is dominant. I don't think that game would go to 4 or 5 at all
Yeah, I mean,
with LeBron.
LeBron and AD will give them at least 2 to win. But I'll go Clippers in 6. I'm gonna go Heat in 7. I think the Celtics are gonna struggle offensively because they got so many defenders, and I mean they're not Giannis, but Tatum can be guarded by Butler, Crowder, Iggy. Same with Brown. Then Kemba, Butler. Even Dragic is not a bad defender. And then the shooters that the Heat have, I think, will be the difference with Harrow and Duncan Robinson. I think the Heat win in 7, Clippers in 6, and then the finals, I have the Clippers in 5 over the Heat.
I would have Clippers in 5 over the Celtics. I think the Clippers are far and away the best team in the playoffs.
Yep. But Nuggets. it's not over.
We'll see.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see you soon.
Make sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.